All right, guys, we'll keep it in the NFL with a look at ESPN's player rankings going into 2020. ESPN Plus ranked their top quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends using a panel of 50 league executives, coaches, scouts, and players. Each voter gave their top 10 to 15 players on each position group. The lists were ranked, and then ties were broken to determine the final rankings. All entries are being considered just in 2020 in a vacuum, no weight to prior achievements nor future projections. So, Jay, we'll start with the quarterbacks. What do you have, and what do you think? Oh, sorry. Let's run down the list of them. I should tell you. I should probably give you the list, huh? Yeah, you think I should do that? All right, yeah. So the list goes Patrick Mahomes, number 1, followed by Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Drew Brees, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Carson Wentz, our boy Dak at number 9, and then Matt Stafford rounds out the top 10. So what do you think?
Yeah, no brainers up front. Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. I think Russell Wilson is the second best. I think Lamar's a little low. I mean, the guy's a reigning MVP. I mean, I think that's got to count for something. I know we'd like to see some playoff success, but understanding what he did last season, how spectacular he was, I would put him at 3. I like Watson in the 4 or 5 range, and I think him and Carson Wentz to me are interchangeable. I've got Wentz 4th on my list, and then those new wave of guys are what I'm looking at, as opposed to the Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. I've got them at 6, 7, Tom Brady at 8. And you already know what time. You know that Dak Prescott is nowhere near the top 10 for me. He's about at 14th right now. I got Stafford at 16th. I got Big Ben at number 9 on my list. And then 10th, I can't remember who I have at 10, but it ain't Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott. He got Dak Prescott right after.
It's Cam Newton.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you for that. Yeah, Cam Newton is number 10. Absolutely. He got an MVP award. He's taken a team to a Super Bowl. Injuries have caught up with him the last year and a half. But I got way more faith in Cam Newton under Bill Belichick with the Patriots than I do with Dak Prescott. I mean, come on. At some point, we got to get serious. All you got to do, and we just talked about this, go watch Week 16, Cowboys and Eagles last season. And then come back to me with a list where Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott are right next to each other. That makes no sense.
So yeah, you know what it is. Mahomes shoe in at number 1. Russell Wilson, my boy, the most disrespected quarterback in the league. Russell Wilson, number 2. And then I'm with Jay. Lamar Jackson has proven. Number 3 will probably be between Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. I'm going to give Lamar Jackson the edge because he is a reigning MVP. That counts for something. And then I'm going to go Deshaun Watson. And then, and let me be clear about this. If we was talking about totality, then yes, Drew Brees and Tom Brady would be higher. But I've taken it that this list is about right now. What can you do for me right now?
Nothing prior and nothing future.
Okay.
That's how they ranked it.
All right, cool. So with that said, you know what I'm saying? I'm going – I got Carson Wentz rounding out my top 5. We're going to go and do that. And then, coming in, I got Drew Brees. I like him a little bit more just because of the situation he's in. Tom Brady got to learn what's going on. So that'll be 6 and 7. And I'm with Dak. Who made this list?
ESPN.
A combination of executives, players, scouts, and coaches. I don't know why we had a combination. They should have just taken – to me, they should have just taken, 50 players or, 50 members of coaching staffs. Now you got it all skewed. You don't know what's going on.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. It sounds like Bill O'Brien and the owners of the Lions made this list because we get down at the bottom, and it's getting pretty outrageous here when I'm looking at Dak Prescott and Matt Stafford. But long story short, I gotta agree with Jay. It's hard for me to put any of these guys over Big Ben and Cam Newton. And listen, I got it. Cam Newton coming off an injury, he didn't play. I got it. Big Ben didn't play. So it's a lot of question marks. It is what it is, though. If you give me the list and this is what I got, ain't no way in hell I'm out here saying Dak Prescott is better than Cam Newton. What are we talking about here? So, that's apples and oranges. So, yeah, when I go to that list, I round out my top 10 with Big Ben and with Cam Newton and Big Ben as well. And that's how I'm looking at it. But listen, this list is pretty doggone disrespectful. All right? I don't know. Jeff Fisher, I don't know if you behind this, But this ain't it. This ain't it. Let's get some more credible people. Let's actually get some people that actually watch the NFL, because whoever made this list must be watching the XFL, because they tripping at the bottom end of this. That's all it is to it. Sorry about that rant. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mostly agree with y'all. I would definitely have Lamar Jackson probably fourth behind Rodgers, Wilson, Mahomes, in that order, or 1 through 3, and then also I like Matt Stafford. I think he's always been a little underrated in Detroit, but he ain't winning. So sorry. Yeah, I kick Prescott and Stafford off. I replace them with Newton and Big Ben in some order or another. So we'll go ahead and move on to running back strength. Number 1, we got Saquon Barkley, followed by Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry at the top 5, and then Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, and Le'Veon Bell round out the top 10. What do you think?
Hey, Le'Veon still bowling? All right, never mind.
I think he is.
Number 1, I'm going Christian McCaffrey. Hey, the guy that improved, he's the goods. He is the goods. Unfortunately, he played for Carolina. That's just what it is. And then I go Saquon. I would take Saquon Barkley second. Listen, I know he came off the injury, but if you actually go back and look what he did after he came back from that injury, the man, if the Giants was in any position to win anything, he would have got them over the hump. But they wasn't, so I will flip those guys. I probably have Chris McCaffrey first, Saquon second, Zeke. I can keep him at third, Derrick Henry fourth, and then, it's a thin line between, because I really like what Derrick Henry. Like, if I look at this list, right, Derrick Henry is the one true guy on this list that I can legitimately say he can carry a team. He can legitimately carry a team. Zeke, I got it. I know what people want to say about Zeke. But Zeke, sometimes he just don't come with it. He just he's just flopping around. I think if Zeke would have played a little bit better than he already have, Dak is this. We ain't talking about Dak no more. He's probably out of here. Andy Dalton might be the starting quarterback or some trash. But hit or there, yeah, got Derrick Henry coming in at that smooth 4. Then I probably go lean towards. I think I like Dalvin Cook at this point a little bit better than I like Alvin Kamara. I'm going Dalvin Cook 5, Alvin Kamara 6. I don't mind Nick Chubb being at 7. Not a big fan of old Joe Mixon now, so he can go ahead and slide down a little bit. I'll probably put Josh Jacobs there at 9. And Joe Mixon, he could probably Josh Jacobs at 8, Joe Mixon at 9, and then I'll probably find another running back, because Le'Veon he ain't making my top 10. I'm sorry. How this dude is, when he was with Pittsburgh, he was a top 10 quarterback. Since then, it's gonna be hard to sell me on that. He's just been cutting the food, cutting the buck. So, for the sake of this list, he'll come in at 10. But I personally would not have Le'Veon Bell in my top 10. That's what I got.
It's pretty interesting. I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength here. I would bump Barkley down to 3 and bump up Christian McCaffrey and Ezekiel Elliott to the top 2. And same thing with 4, 5, and 6. I would take down Kamara 2 spots and bump Henry and Cook up 1. I think Chubb's about right there at 7, and maybe you could bump him up to 6 and move Kamara down 1 more. And then I think Josh Jacobs absolutely belongs on this list. He was absolutely fantastic last season. I'm really not enamored with Joe Mixon. I think part of that could be the Cincinnati bias, and I just don't watch them because they're bad, and they're bad often. So I don't know. I really don't know how good Joe Mixon is. But Le'Veon, you were highly disappointing last year. In the past 2 seasons, you sat out a year, and then last season you may as well sat out last season because we couldn't find you. We couldn't find you in your 3.2 yards per carry average or whatever it was.
Only on social media bowling. That's the only place.
Yeah. Strike in bowling. But what a terrible performance, and part of that is because I had some faith in him in fantasy, and it was not rewarded. I would bump Bell and Mixon out of here, and I think you could. I think you'd be well served to give a combination of Aaron Jones, Mark Ingram, and one more. I was thinking of Leonard Fournette. This is about the only time you're gonna hear me say something positive about Jacksonville. Give Leonard Fournette some love.
I was going to mention that as well, and I wasn't just being a homer. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the top three. I would put Christian McCaffrey 1 and Zeke 2. It's not Zeke's fault the Cowboys don't give him the ball anymore. Saquon to be 3, and then the rest of these guys. Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry's been inconsistent at times, but if we get that playoff Derrick Henry, then yeah, forget about it. He's probably gonna be top 3. The rest of the guys in the back half, I would agree. Le'Veon needs to be off this list. This is for 2020. What on earth is he doing here? I don't understand at all. I mean, I could even argue that Chris Carson or Leonard Fournette, like Aaron Jones, like some of the guys you mentioned, I could say Lamar Jackson's a better running back than him right now. I mean, come on, like what are we doing? I mean, Lamar was 6th in the league in rushing.
Some facts right there.
Where's Le'Veon at? Oh, I don't see. Yeah. So yeah, I think other than that, yeah, Josh Jacobs needs some more love, and if we do this next year, he won't be 9th. I promise you that. All right, let's go on and move on to wide receivers. Jay, Julio Jones takes the top spot, followed closely by Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr. at 4th, Tyreek Hill at 5th, Mike Evans 6th, Devontae Adams 7th, Keenan Allen 8th, Chris Godwin 9th, and Amari Cooper rounds out the top 10. What do you think?
I think as much as I love Julio Jones, I got to the consistency and excellence of DeAndre Hopkins is something I just can't ignore. And I would have him at 1 on this list. I give him a slight edge over Michael Thomas. Well, we got to remember, DeAndre Hopkins was making it happen with the likes of your Tom Savages and T.J. Yates and
Brock
Osweiler and Case Keenum might have been there at one particular juncture in time. He was making it happen long before Deshaun Watson got there. So I'm taking that into account on this list. So I'm just a little bit of slight edge over Michael Thomas and Julio Jones. Odell, yeah, well, we'll see. You're definitely a top 5 talent at that position. And I would tell you Odell's the most talented wide receiver in football, but you got to give me some production at some point. I think Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, they definitely belong. Tyreek Hill as well. You can't deny what he's doing, becoming more of a complete wide receiver instead of just being that deep bomb threat. Godwin, Chris, listen, the Bucs are the only team on here with 2 wide receivers. I'm a little less sold on Chris Godwin. Some of it has to do with just the bias of really is he that good, or is he just a product of beating up on people because Mike Evans is getting all the attention? So that's one of the things I look at when we're looking at the Chris Godwin and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As far as guys I would plug in, it's tough. This is a pretty solid list. I'm just a little less sold on probably the bottom 3 than most.
I'm with Jay. DeAndre Hopkins, listen, it's not about how you do it, it's about who you do it with. And listen, when you talking about bottom tier, you know the crazy thing, right? We give Carson Wentz a lot of credit, right, for going out here and throwing the ball to like house shoes and winning games with toe socks. Well, that means we should give that same credit to DeAndre Hopkins when you got, swipe or no swiping throwing you the ball. Like that you seriously, like when you got this mismatched crew, this practice squad crew throwing you the ball and you still a 1,000-yard receiver, you still an all-pro receiver, that means something, man. That really means something. Not to mention when he do get a good quarterback, then they trade him. Anyway, so DeAndre Hopkins being 1, I think that's pretty easy. Michael Thomas, suction cups. I mean, he don't really give you he don't go down the field a lot, but it don't matter. He's dependable, and that's all you really care about is the fact that he's dependable. If I throw the ball to him, he's going to catch it. That matters. And then, Julio Jones. Look, Julio Jones been on top of his game for quite some time. But, Julio Jones and Michael Thomas, to their benefit, they have had the same quarterback throwing them the ball, to be perfectly honest. And so that's why I got both of those guys behind DeAndre. Odell Beckham, let's go ahead and get him out of here. Listen, he ain't done nothing in the hot one. I mean, honestly, give me his most significant, yardage or anything since he made the catch. He made the catch, and what has he done since then? Like,
he kicked that goal net, practice net over,
and they punched him back in the face, if you remember correctly.
He did.
He He made a pretty good donation at the national championship game, didn't he? A lot of money on the field and such.
Oh yeah. That's what he did. He out there getting drunk with college kids. Like, come on, man. That ain't it. That definitely not an ambassador of the NFL for sure. That ain't it. So he might mess around, fall all the way off my list. I'm gonna tell you who I got number 4. This might be a quite surprise. As much as I like Tyreek Hill, much as I like Mike Evans, I'm gonna go with Devontae Adams, and here's why. Listen, so Tyreek Hill plays on the offense with Travis Kelce, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins this year, and then he got Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball. Mike Evans also play on the offense. Yeah, we know 30 for 30, dirty crab legs was throwing him the ball, but he also had another guy on the other side that was taking away, some coverage. Listen, Devontae Adams had Scantling, Jimmy Graham.
Don't make me list them.
You know what I'm saying?
Lazard.
Lazard. Yo, he had a seafood ball. That's what he had. It was him and a seafood ball over there. Like, let's be real here. I think Devontae Adams deserves a lot of credit that he had to play so well that he actually earned Aaron Rodgers' confidence. Like, Aaron Rodgers, like, hell, if I got to throw it to one dude, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw it to this one guy. I'm going to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And because, I ain't worried about it. My organization going to draft me another wide receiver. Wait, bring that back. So, I got Devontae Adams coming in at that smooth number 4. Then I got Tyreek Hill 5. Then I got Mike Evans 6. Don't really have a problem with Keenan Allen being where he's at. I can accept Keenan Allen because I think Keenan Allen is an underrated wide receiver. Well, I guess if you take away the fact that he's very injury prone, but when he's on the field, he's very productive. So I could keep him at 8. Chris Godwin, I don't got a problem with him being at 9. I like Amari Cooper, right? I don't know if Amari Cooper is a top 10 guy, but to keep this conversation going, I would say I would keep Amari Cooper coming in at my 10.
I got a late substitution. I would put in T.Y. Hilton and take out Godwin.
Okay. Yeah, the top 3 are hard, because I've long held the opinion that DeAndre Hopkins is the best wide receiver in football, like you said, for what he's had to work with, what he's had to overcome. But, Michael Thomas, man, he was lapping the league. 1,700 yards, 149 catches. I mean, he dumpstered everybody else statistically. It wasn't even close. Like, it was an absolute massacre. So that counts for something, even if his yards per catch were a little lower. The touchdowns weren't quite as much. It still matters. And Julio's just been a consistent dude every single year. So those 3, I could see any of those 3 getting an argument for the top spot. Can't be mad about that. Yeah, Odell's got to go down on this list. I'd also throw in Kenny Galladay. Led the league in touchdowns last year and had just as many yards as any of these other guys had. So that's probably another dude that kind of flies under the radar. But I would maybe put him in around 9, 10, maybe take out Chris Godwin. But Chris Godwin was 3rd in the league. For whatever reason or another, he was 3rd in the league in total receiving yards. So it's this is probably the most subjective group of guys, is that there's so many factors based off your team, quarterback, etc. to go with. But all right, Jake, we're going to wrap up with the tight ends. So we have George Kittle leading the pack, followed by Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz, Rob Gronkowski, Darren Waller rounds up the top 5. On the back end, we have Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, and Jared Cook. What do you think?
All right, so listen, sign, seal, and deliver. Let's go ahead and get those first 2 out the way. George Kittle has earned every bit of the right to be called the best tight end in the game. Travis Kelce has also earned the right to fight him for that title. Those two, and then let's get to the real list. Zach Ertz has been very, very productive, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if he be hurt, and sometimes he's not as dependable. I mean, it was a point I thought that he was just as good as those other 2 guys. As of late, I'm not really into it as much. Gronk. It's weird because that's why I asked the question earlier. Are we talking about totality or are we talking about the season? And you guys said we're talking about the 2020 season. Mm-hmm. The only reason I think Gronk is this high is because Tom Brady is going to be throwing him the ball. Because imagine this. What if he had to go back to New England and he would stay with New England and it was Jarrett Stidham throwing him the ball? Are we even talking about this? I don't think so. Gronk is one of the greatest tight ends to play the game, no doubt about it. But number 4 right now, I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll take Mark Andrews over Or did I say Mark Andrews? Because that's my number 4 tight end. Let me show you how impressive Mark Andrews was. He played on a team with 2 other like elite level tight ends. Their offense was based around 3 tight ends. And he still found the way to separate himself from the other 2 tight ends. I was very impressed with what Mark Andrews showed me last year. I have Mark Andrews at number 4. I would take I like Darren Waller. I don't mind him being 5. I have Gronk coming in at 6 instead of 4. I take him at 6. Once, and you said this earlier, Cody, once I got to 6, these guys at 7, 8, 9, and 10, I mean, they got quality. They're NFL players, they're NFL tight ends, but, I mean, if I got to fill out the list, let's fill out the list. Number 7, I think I'm going with Jared Cook. I done seen Jared Cook do a lot more than these other 3 cats. I'm going 10, 7, I'm going to go with Cook. 8, I'm going to go with Austin Hooper. 9, I would take Hunter Henry. And 10, I'm going Evan Ingram. Just based off what I done seen thus far with these guys, that's how I feel about that. But I'm going to be perfectly honest. I was flopping around after we got done with 6. These rest of these guys kind of was a mix and mingle Chex Mix package.
Yeah, I would go even so far to say I think I checked out right after 4, right after Gronk. Thank the good Lord that he made a return, or else I'd be even more of a quick checkout after 3. I'm impressed that I even recognize all these names on this list, considering how pedestrian the tight end position is across the National Football League. I do think the top 2, or the top 4. I would leave the top 4 the same. And really, the only gripe I really have is I was really impressed with Jared Cook last season. I thought he fit in that offense really well. And we talked about the lack of a downfield threat that the Saints did not have last season. I thought he was able to stretch the field up the seams quite a bit for that offense. And I would move him. I would be so bold. I would move him all the way up to number 5. And oh, by the way, he has some one-hit wonders on here. Austin Hooper got paid off for 1 season, reset the market for tight end position. That you talk about, there's going to be a lot of dudes that got some gripes on that. They're going to be asking to get that $44 million paycheck. Darren Waller, before last season, I would venture to say NFL Shop carried none of his merchandise. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I kind of agree on this list. One of the things you look at, it's like, so if you look at the top 3 tight ends, you Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, as far as just by receiving yards. So Kelsey, let's just look at it this way. Kelsey leads the league in receiving yards last year with 1,229. The 10th place guy, which is Dallas Goedert, has 607. So your quality, when you go from the top couple guys down to like 8, 9, 10, it's a depreciable drop off to say the least. But yeah, overall, like you said, I mean, after the top 3, you can kind of mix match these dudes where you want them. The position just really hasn't had a lot of home run hitters lately. I think Gronk will be fine in Tampa just because there's just too many weapons. It's insanity. But before we end, did y'all see Jimmy Graham on this list? I don't.
You know, I was just thinking that.
I'm
at least they had the wherewithal not to put him on this list. So great job for that. I'm a little surprised Kyle Rudolph ain't on here.
Yeah, that's one that could go on here for sure. Anywhere in that top, 8, 9, 10, I put him in there.
You know who I would love to put on this list is Vance McDonald. He be ending people's careers with stiff arms, but it seemed like every other week he ain't playing for some various reason.
If Delaney Walker was healthy, and not so old, I put him on here.
Yeah.
But let's get about that time.